Hi, everybody. We're all just getting joined on now. So, as usual, just make sure everyone's connected. I can see lots of connecting to audios. Just to let you all know, this will be the first beer we'll be talking through this evening. So, if you've got it there with you as well, that's this one. I'm just pouring it out myself now. I'm just drinking this one, the Heliolator, which is our Round Corner collab. I can see they're reading through the booklet we have this month as well. That's always good to see, getting ahead of the beers we'll be tasting this evening. And so nice to have a good busy group on as well. My name's James. For those who don't know, I'm James, the export manager at Thornbridge. Joined tonight, we've got Charlotte, our social media coordinator, who's looking after the chat and everything else here today. We've got Russell, our taproom manager as well, who's joining us to talk about all the different beers. We're then joined by Colin, who's taken the time from Round Corner to come and join us on. Thank you, Colin. And Carl as well, who you'll remember, who's joined us before, is nice enough to come and join us again and talk to us about our collab, our away leg of the collaborations that we've been doing together there too. So, yeah, thank you all very much for joining us as always. Unfortunately, we start with a summer ale. Not the most summery day. Maybe we tempted fate a little bit here, but at least we have some beer to keep us company and go through as well. So it looks like most people are logged on and talking as well now. So please, if you've got anything, just pop it in the chat. If you've got any questions, if you want to ask anything with any of the guys who are joining us, any of our team from the brewery, pop them in the chat and we'll make sure to answer everything as well. And yeah, mainly thank you again for joining us tonight. So we won't leave anyone thirsty. We'll tuck into beer number one first. As I mentioned, this one is Heliolator. And we are joined by Colin as well from Round Corner. So this was our collaboration brew that we've done. Thank you, Colin, for joining us. How are you enjoying the beer?
Loving it. Yeah. So thanks. We got a few cases in about a week ago, and we've had a couple at the brewery. So yeah, really enjoying it, and just cracked this one this evening. So yeah, look, tasting really good. I mean, I suppose a little bit about summer ales. It was a lovely opportunity to obviously brew with you guys. So thank you for that. And certainly we, when we were talking with the brewing team about what we wanted to brew, there was lots of ideas, and lots of things sort of went across the airwaves, but. Summer ale's a beer I've probably been brewing for about 25 years, something like that. I used to brew one down in the south of England and then spent a bit of time brewing in Australia, brewed one over there. And so as soon as I mentioned it, I think everyone realized it was probably the right sort of beer for us to make. Really simple, so kind of keeping it simple. This beer, if everyone's got it in their glass, it's really quite delicate, beautiful, very light hop aroma. I get kind of almost candied pineapple or kind of lolly, pineapple lumps. The hops in this are Enigma and Galaxy, so 2 Australian hops, but such a simple beer at about 2 grams a litre dry hop and only pale malt and wheat malt, and that makes quite a soft palate. But I think the bitterness is fairly gentle, and the aromas are lush, and it's really, as you say, James, made for summer drinking. So it's not too bad where I am in Lincolnshire at the minute, but
good.
Yeah.
To be fair, yeah, I'm in Sheffield at the moment. It's not as bad as it's been. We're getting some summer weather coming back maybe, but yeah, but the beer's helping anyway. Nice summer in a glass at least. So as you mentioned, it was suggested, and yeah, we're really excited for it. Summer ales are always a bit of a favorite, along lines like Wild Swan and things like that we've done in the past. It's yeah, we love to do those styles of beer, and with your experience, it certainly allows us to create something really kind of crisp and drinkable as well. I'm sure, of course, the guys on the chat here, they'll know Round Corner, they'll see your beers out and about as well quite often too nowadays, but would you mind talking us a little through the brewery as well, and giving everyone a bit of a view of the history?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think Conby was also online there, but we, so Conby and I met, about 20 years ago in New Zealand. So I was brewing for a company over there, Lion Breweries, and kind of looking after craft brand Max, and we kind of had always kind of plotted that, you know, one day we'd set up a brewery together, and we looked in many places, everywhere from Vietnam, where I brewed for a while, and Cambodia, and then eventually decided to come back to the UK. And meanwhile, about 2016, Combi invested in the Melton Mowbray cattle market, and it's quite a big site. It's about 17 acres, so there's a nice bit of space there. So back in January 2016, actually, is when we started talking about, okay, maybe we come back and start a brewery in the UK, and kind of the concept and the idea for Round Corner Brewing was born. Back then, you know, really for us, the name was around. If anyone knows what Melton Mowbray's famous for, pork pies and Stilton cheese, and our name Round Corner is kind of a doff of the cap to that, the round corner of a Stilton cheese. Which is like the first photo on Wikipedia when you look at Round Corner. So we started plotting in 2016, but we broke ground and started actually building the brewery in earnest in mid 2018. We have a 2,000 liter brew kit. We invested in pretty good brew kit that can enable us to make lagers and ales, and we sold our first beer on the 1st of December 2018. So we had a clear year and 3 months run at it before the world fell down. But one of our, you know, we have a range of breweries. As I said, I graduated from brewing school in 1996, so I've been commercially brewing for quite a while. But Thornbridge was always up there as one of the breweries that we loved, and we, you know, we find aspirational, I suppose, alongside other breweries that we know, like Sierra Nevada and probably Stone and Wood in Australia. So, you know, we've always stayed close with you guys since we've started. So to have this opportunity is absolutely fantastic. And I'm looking forward to the return leg at some stage where you guys come down and brew with us. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know our brewers will be as well. So, but like you say, there's a long relationship. I know yourself, Simon, our CEO, have known each other a long time, and Combi and I talked a while ago about exporting and all sorts of different things as well. So, yeah, it's nice to do something together, to have a beer together, and create something that hopefully people are enjoying as well. So. And of course we can find all your core beers and things, but is there anything special you've got coming up at all? Any other collabs, any seasonal beers at all?
Oh yeah, look, yeah, we have our market editions because we are right in the center of you know, the country's biggest and oldest town center cattle market. We kind of bring a new one out every month, but yeah, look, we've got another. I'm sure people have heard of Braybrook Brewery, which are just down the road from us, so Leicestershire neighbours. So we've got a beer coming out in a few weeks that's a collab with them that we're pretty excited about as well. And yeah, we've only just about 2 weeks ago launched our first ever sour, and so probably for us, you know, we're probably quite similar to Thornbridge in a way that we're not really into kind of necessarily pastry stouts and the weird and the wonderful, when malt, hops, yeast and water kind of can do the job. So you know, but for us to do a sour, we've done a lemon and an orange and lime, I should say, sorry, goza, that we've just released called Sleepover. We called it Sleepover because I stayed in the brewery for the night. It was the first kettle sour that we had done, and we didn't want to overstep our numbers. But we're pretty excited about that, and it's going really well. Thanks for asking. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Carl was just asking there about if you'd done it as a kettle as well. So you did answer that in there too. So
yeah. So it was, absolutely. So we pitched. We did a kind of traditional kettle sour. We kept it very anaerobic without getting too techy. We made sure that we didn't want any butyric characters that we find in some kettle sours, and we used purged with CO2, pitched lactobacillus, and yeah, got some nice complexity there. It's kind of an old-fashioned goza that there's a nice salt character and plenty of citrus, and we were pretty happy that we hit our numbers, and a lot of coriander actually, which comes across well and adds a nice depth. So look out for that one.
Yeah, fantastic. And where can people find it at the moment? Online, or is it people on here from all over the country normally? So
Yeah, I mean, check us out by all means, roundcornerbrewing.com, and we have a web shop there. And apart from that, like it's probably in our local area, we do good business with farm shops and things like that. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, fantastic.
And all our, I should say as well, James, all of our the half pallet bottles that we got from you, I think we've already sold them all. So
yeah,
later. Yeah.
We are getting pretty much, I believe we're about through as well from here too. It's all very fast. Once it started, we got a lot of people return buying and things too. We've just got the kegs out there now as well. And actually I mentioned just in the chat about the Round Corner tap room as well there. Getting some love. So yeah, and is that available? Can people pop by anytime? Is it Monday to Sunday or?
Yeah, we're Friday, Saturday. So Friday from 5, Saturday from 1 through till late in the tap room, and yeah, we've still got a few kegs of Heliolator as well, and that's on tap at the minute and going pretty well. So yeah.
Perfect. Oh, good. Well, yeah, thank you. And like I say, it's nice to have you on. We're looking forward to the return leg as well. We've just done with Wiper and True, and it's always nice to be able to do those, and the brewers will be very excited, especially as you mentioned with all the food that you have around the area there. They'll be keen to get down and do something and see the tap room, try some pork pie, I'm sure, as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And one thing as well, actually, a couple of people mentioning with that, we were talking with Bex earlier, who's our design lead, creative lead, and she was very excited about the label too for this one. So the first time we're sort of trying with this real like gold label coming out of the bottle itself almost. So hopefully people have liked that too. It's something, like I say, a little bit different, but it should tie in nicely with the style. Bex, the creative lead's been putting all of her favorite ones up on the wall around her desk at work at the moment. And so this has got pride of place in there now.
It looks stunning. It's an absolutely beautiful color, whatever that is, teal or whatever, but it's a stunning color. And I think did we mention already, like, I think is it Heliolator, was it mean sun worshipper, is that right?
Yes, yeah, that was it. So with the summer ale and things like that seemed about right, a good name for it. So but yeah, it's been certainly very popular. We'll have I believe we'll have a couple of kegs back for Peakender as well. Of course, you'll be joining us there too. So are you down personally, Colin? Are you coming along to?
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm not sure if I'll be camping, but I'm hoping to get up for a day. Yeah. But we've certainly got a few people heading up and looking forward to it.
Yeah, good. No, it'd be nice to have you up there. Yeah, camping. We'll have a good sort of camping field full of people as well. So I'm sure there'll be a nice mix of folks drinking the beers, staying in Bakewell, and going up and down as well too. We do full days and everything else are available. Whose idea was the name? Honestly, I don't know actually. Do you know who came up with the name originally, Colin?
I remember the emails. There was a lot of backwards and forwards.
Yeah,
and as there usually is, and then there's always those light bulb moments where somebody goes, this is the name, and then we Google it and somebody else has the name.
Yeah.
And so you go through a few more iterations of that always. But I think, to be honest, the name came from your side. And we were like, that's nice. That's good.
It might have been, maybe it was Dom on our side then, actually.
Might have been Dom, yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately we do run through that a lot. We're like, what a great name, and then like 8 different breweries already have it on Untapped. Okay, I wondered why it sounded so good. So but well, thank you, Colin, for joining us and chatting through with the beer as well.
Yeah, welcome.
I say we'll do it in person over at Peakender proper, and we'll continue sort of talking through the other beers and things like that as well. I know you said you had a very early match this morning, so yes. Of course, if you need to get some sleep, please don't.
Thanks for the invite. It was lovely to join you, and thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for listening, everybody. Much appreciated, and I hope you enjoy the beer. And I will leave you now.
No, thank you.
Okay, take care.
Cheers, Colin. Thanks very much. So yeah, that was of course Colin popping on there. You mentioned at the start he'd I think it was 4 or 5 a.m. he started mashing this morning. So I was very appreciative he'd actually made it to come and see us and chat to us as well. So probably some well-deserved sleep and maybe hopefully another beer or two afterwards as well. But then, so we've talked through Helia later, which is a nice starter there as well. We'll jump up a little in ABVs, but I'd want to, well, of course, Carl is joining us again, and thank you for the return visit. So hopefully you remember when Carl joined us before. And this time it's for, Carl's off to get the beer, I think he said there. So Carl, who joined us before, has come down from Wiper and True. So we mentioned it briefly with Colin. We like brewing these like home and away leg beers, where it's a nice opportunity for brewers to come and visit us and see everything. We can look after them at the brewery, of course, with pizzas and beers and big copious amounts of tea as well. And then our brewers can go down and do the same thing there as well. So Carl has kindly joined us again to talk through the away leg this time. So please, Carl, let us tell us all about it.
Hello, team. Thanks for having me back. I appreciate that. I mean, I didn't one of the ladies at work watched the video back and then came in the next day, was like, Carl, you rambled quite a bit. But I enjoyed it a lot. Thanks so much for having me back. So Small Pleasures. It is like it's a West Coast IPA is how we've phrased it. It's a merger of two things really. So when I was up and I had a lovely walk around the grounds of what do you call it? Do you call it Thornbridge Hall? There's a name for it.
Thornbridge Hall. Thornbridge
Hall. Yeah, I got a lovely tour around the grounds, and me and Don were talking about sort of like simple beer from 2011 and what that sort of meant. And so it's a very simple grist. So it's Golden Promise, then Vienna, which is sort of like a spring barley that's like kilned slightly higher for color, and then it's Chinook Cryo, Citra Cryo. Again, all of those big sort of 2011 starter craft beer hops and what people were making back then is sort of an ode to that, really, like keeping it quite simple and not trying to be too modern about it. I think it came out pretty good. We're pretty happy. We've got really into Vienna actually in the last couple of months. We've been using it a lot in our cask beers to sort of add the color, but you can add a butt ton of it. So this is like probably like 500 kilos. So like probably like 50% of the grist is Vienna. It's like that Vienna lager thing. Can you remember Vienna lagers being a thing?
We brewed a few, yeah.
So that remember when that was that sort of. I really always like those mouthfeels of those Vienna lagers, but. I'm never sure they came across in the way that people really wanted them to. But it lends itself really, really well to an IPA for me. It has that sort of that little bit of chew, that little bit of caramel. And then we use sort of old school yeast. We use USO5, which is again like what you were brewing with in 2011 when you were trying to make craft beer, you know, that sort of old school, quite neutral, but like a bit American-y, had its own little thing going on. USO5. I've always really liked it in that sort of sense. It doesn't maybe lend it so well to like the more hazies and sort of like softer mouthfeels of today. So it came across really well on both of those things. Alice from your brew team came down. Really lovely vibe. Really like came down and when we brewed it. And yeah, I think that's about it really. I think it's a simple beer. It's kind of hard to talk too much about it, really, past that.
But that was the idea, right? You said like talking with Dom about the simpler times, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah, it was about how we made beer a few years back and what that looked like. And when we were talking about sort of in-house with the team, and we were talking about what it looked like and what it should taste like, we kept bringing up the Kernel from 2011.
Yeah,
those sort of those pale ale series they did where it was just like you would just say Chinook and like Chinook and Cascade or something like that, and the flavor of those and how sort of defined they were, but really very, very simple beer, essentially just really well made. And like and it's quite fun actually, because we were talking a little bit about that today, how it's echoing through. Like if you try a Kernel beer now, it's still just really, really well made, and you can sort of really stand behind that if you were that brewer. So
yeah, no, that's it. And Gareth there, nice to see a West Coast bit of bitterness as a contrast to everything. They are coming back, I think. Like we're seeing we're lucky with Jaipur sort of fitting into that style as well. But we're launching another one next month as well, another West Coast. So certainly, as you say, they're coming back around. People, I think, appreciate them. Always did appreciate them, and now it's time to get the color. You get the flavor, that little almost sweetness with a bit of bite on it. Like,
it was quite fun as well because we don't make clear beer, so we don't filter or centrifuge wiper. So to make clear beer, you have to kind of put quite a lot of pre-thought into how the hell it's going to be clear. So it's mostly whirlpool hops. It's like a smattering in the FE. It's like we use vegan fining, so it's like a super F, it's like a fining to try and clear it up a little bit. And again, it felt like a few years ago when you were trying to make clear beer on the regular and what that meant, and sort of it was great fun to try and like recapture what that was. And we talked about it a lot in that sort of sense, which is really fun actually.
Oh, it's good. And I mean, it certainly, it shows at the end of it. It does taste fantastic. It's got everything you want from a West Coast, and it's got that clarity too, even with as you mentioned, coming into it from that way where you have to put a lot of thought into it. I wanted to ask as well, of course, your labels are always great. They look great. So what is the sort of inspiration for when you have something like this on the front?
Do you know what? We've gone through a redesign in the last few years, not last few years, last sort of 6 months. And we have a designer who does all our labels called Hamish. And we talked about it quite a lot. We moved from the gold fronted core labels, and they're staying as they are, and they sort of pop. But we wanted a bit more variety in the seasonals, so we opted for like a color palette. So they're sort of like I can't remember, I mean, like 6. We only allowed 6 colors at Wiper. That's all we get. So all the labels for the seasonals are sort of sit in this core palette of colors. And then I think he's got his chops back recently. He's done some really amazing things. This I feel like this label accidentally had Nat West written on it, but I think we got rid of that. I think, but I think it just says West Coast and stuff. I think it's quite fun. It's always good to identify who you are as a brewery. When we do our sort of like overarching, I'm sure you've seen those meetings. What are we? Sort of, it's quite good. When we did one recently, and they were like, it's not a bad thing to be fun. You're allowed to be a little bit fun, not too fun. We're a serious beer brand, but you can be a little bit fun. And I think this label sort of epitomizes that to me. It's like it's quite serious, and then a little bit fun. So, that's good.
I'd agree. Nice. No, it's cool. I mean, you're well known, of course, for your designs and things too. And it sounds not dissimilar to ourselves. We have that core range, and you recognize it straight away. And now with Beck's on board, we've been kind of branching out a little bit in the seasonals, particularly the non-core ones, doing those extra designs and things in the background.
I want to know what foils you used, because it's a good gold. It's a good gold. So I'm intrigued what Kurt's used on the foil.
That is a question that I cannot help you with. But I can ask and email you. I'll check with Bex. Bex is again much more experienced with that than me, so I will ask her the question though, and I'll drop you a line on it. So you have it there for your labels as well.
Thank you.
But again, thank you for taking the time to pop back on and do a return one for the return leg as well. It's been going down well already. We've seen nice pickups on Untapped and social media and everywhere else as well, with people enjoying it. So thank you very much, and thank you for joining us again as well, Carl.
No worries. I had a lovely time. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And so we wanted to mention as well one thing we have coming up at Peakender. So of course, our big beer festival, it's 1 month away now. It's in fact, it starts in just under 1 month. So out in the Peaks, we'll be having lots of people camping and drinking and hanging out, trying lots of nice beers as well. But one of the things we want to do is put together a bit of a Thornbridge Beer Club meetup as well, see everyone in person, do this sort of thing there. So we did this last year, and so again on Saturday from 10 till 12, we'll be having a meetup in person. And we thought we'd kind of try and do it a bit like this as well. So Russell and I will be down there. Charlotte will be joining us too. And we'll do an in-person tasting of the August box. We'll have one very special beer from our barrel age series. It's actually not been released yet, so it will be the first chance to try that at Peakender at the tasting there as well. Of course, we'll have coffees and pastries laid on too. And hopefully people can come and join us. It should be live if you go in the members area, if you're able to make it up on that 19th. To come and join us. The spaces will be a bit limited, but hope there'll be enough for everyone on here if you're wanting to come and see us. So if you're already at Peakend or anything, go into the members area, have a look there. You can sign up in advance so we know how many people, but it will be free. You'll be able to use your 15% discount in the shop, in the bar as well. We'll give you a free pint afterwards too. So yeah, please come along and join us there. It'd be very nice as well. So a couple of you, thank you, had been here before, so thank you very much for that. And then it is just going to be for Peakend for TBC members, I'm afraid, just because of course it is a little bit limited on there. Stephen, what a box, it's already empty as well, so well, I'm glad you've made it through there as well with the help of some friends there too. And a shout out from Steve there to the Wiper and True tap room. So thank you guys, I'm glad you've enjoyed that. I've actually never made it down. I've not been in Bristol for many years, so I need to get there myself as well. Our brewers have been down to enjoy it.
You come down, we'll have a beer.
I know, I need to. I like Bristol. I need to come in and see it, but people have already been enjoying it as well. So yes, that's always good to hear too. So but yeah, thanks for those already mentioning it about coming in. Hopefully, as I say, hopefully we will see you there at Peakender, and the team will be there as well. We'll also have James Kitson, who does a lot of behind the scenes. He's our e-commerce manager. He manages everything. So keeps it all smooth, looks after everything for yourselves as well, and everyone else in the shopping online. Don Metcalf will be there, our sales and marketing director. So we'll have the full team. It'll be good fun. We'll take it. It'll just be a nice, relaxed tasting and talking through the box as well there too. So hopefully see most of you there as well. But of course, we have lots of other beers to talk about this evening. I know Russell has been loving Tropical Swan and has been getting very excited to talk about it. So please, Russell, don't let me keep talking. Tell us all about the Tropical Swan.
Yeah, it was widely anticipated across the brewery. Obviously, Wild Swan's been part of the brand for such a long time, and I suppose Tropical Swan and that kind of series is like the younger nephew of it, I suppose. 3.4%, really light. Light in colour as well, crystal clear. We've got it on draft in the tap room at the moment as well, and we've had for a while. But I was told today, actually, James, that there's 10 cases of this left in the online section. So we've got none available to buy in the tap room, unfortunately. And I went over to try and get some, and yeah, I've been told that there's 10 cases left in online. But yeah, really fantastic beer. You know, really zesty, grapefruit, lemons, limes. Yeah, it's fantastic. And it lends itself to drinking a few of them. And I must admit, I've had a few of these in the last sort of week or so, admittedly. And they've gone down really well. They've gone down really well with everyone else as well. Even our core Green Mountain drinkers that we get in the tap room have kind of switched over to Tropical Swan for the last week or so. And they've been really enjoying it. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
Good. Will there just agreeing with you, tried it last night, bloody delicious. And yeah, I certainly agree. As you say, as you'd expect, it's zesty, it's fresh. Wild Swan as a base is along the lines of a proper classic summer American style summer ale as well, with American hops. And so it begins so fresh and zesty and zingy already, and then you add in that grapefruit and it's on another level, I think. So
yeah. I mean, Amarillo, Chinook. I mean, you know, some of my favorite hops. You know, I'm a Jaipur through and through. But yeah, Amarillo, Chinook. You know, just takes me back to that kind of quiet side of Amarillo, but then with the added grapefruit, that zest, freshness, really clean. You know, you can drink a few of them. It's great on a sunny day. I think we were anticipating a bit more sun at this time of year, hence Helio 2 and Tropical Swan. But even so, it's still a great pick me up. So yeah, we've enjoyed it. As a simple snack, I've done myself fried chicken with sriracha sauce. I think you can eat plenty of spicy things with this. So yeah, I suggest getting something quite spicy down with you, and I think it's great with the curry as well. So a few of the lads were telling me they were eating it with vindaloos and madrasses the other day as well on a takeaway when I don't bring your own. So yeah, I think it lends that tropical kind of vibe, you know, that clean and crisp vibe. It really lends itself well to that kind of food.
Nice. I like that. Are you going to have to cook stuff up for everyone when we do these in person as well, you know?
You know what? You know, we spoke about this earlier and you didn't bring that up, and I thought, I wonder if I can angle some in. But I've been, be warned, because I'll put something on for sure, but I've been trying to angle Marmite and Vegemite into one of my tastings for the last sort of 4 months or so, and I haven't been able to do it yet. So, you know, beware, there could be something, you know, in our live in tasting. I'll make sure I'll have it organised for everyone.
I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be good. Steve there, sorry, just saying, when will the Peakender tasting session tickets go? They should be live in the TBC area now. If they are not on, they should have gone on at 8. If not, I'll double check with James as well, and we'll just make sure. And then the swan on the label, yeah, we've enjoyed doing, as I mentioned earlier, you know, we talked about that new sort of design for the non-core ones coming out as well. So you can just see that little touch there with it. And Jenny and Colin had it with a curry last night and thought that was very good as well. So
I think it's worth pointing out. Bex, obviously, like, as you mentioned, our creative lead now, she's doing a fantastic job with, you know, some of the graphics that we've got going on the labels and like the gold foiling or whatever. It's very subtle, but yeah, it's really lighting up. And specifically, you know, going back to Heliolator as well, that's just absolutely flown in the tap room. And half the reason is because of just the bottle. We've not got it on draft at the moment. We will do soon. But, you know, people can't even try it in the tap room. They're still buying, you know, bottles and bottles of this. So, and I'm an avid campaigner for the 500ml range, especially the bottle condition. So, yeah, belter of a beer. But very quickly, while Carl's here as well, I mean, I think we've glazed over this one. This is an absolute belter of a beer. And talking about Vienna lagers, I visit Tollgate Brewery in Leicestershire. And they've got a standard Vienna lager, which I drink, really soft in the mouth. And that's what it reminded me of. But, you know, full of bitterness and punchiness. I won't kind of step on Carl's toes with that beer, but what a fantastic beer that is. Fair play.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be stepping on any toes with those nice words there, Russell. Yeah, it sounds like everything it's supposed to be, and yeah, we've got a very good box with these different collabs in this month for sure. In fact, sorry, Steve. So the other Peakender. So the plan this year, we've changed it up a little bit. We found with the across doing all the tasting sessions every time, we didn't get, some of them would be too full and people couldn't get in. Other ones we had everything on for and we didn't get quite as many people in as we hoped. So we're going to change it this time to having one area instead, but we will be putting those live as well. So there will be, we've got lots of things lined up with people who we've worked with over the years. Like we're going to talk checkmates. We're going to actually talk about TBC. We're going to talk with Serious Pig. Are going to do some snack tasting and things like that as well. So keep an eye out for those, Steve. We will be launching those live, so you can put your name down for them in advance as well. So a slightly different format this year, but just as informative and with the whole team and everyone else there as well. So yeah, we will, if you keep an eye on your inbox and your emails and everything else, you'll find them there. And good to see the TV session is live too. So yeah, just confirm there. But if anyone wants to come and join us in person and can make it up, then please do yeah, come and see us there. A couple of you already have done, so thank you very much for that. But yeah, and thank you as well, Russell, talking us through the Tropical Swan too. It's yeah, certainly it's gone pretty much already, I think, other than those few cases in the online shop. So yeah, if you want to grab the last bits while you can, if you've enjoyed it, probably best doing them now before well, even Russell can't get it. So yeah.
No. I mean, I can't get Tropical Swan, and whenever we do a collab, I struggle to get hold of any, and I managed to get the last Jai Parker when we did that with Double Barrel, and the last Cash Per when we did it with Salopian. So I'll definitely be heading into work tomorrow to get my hands on the last bit of this as well.
Nice, good thinking, definitely. Will it be at the tap room again? Yes, so it'll be the same place, same time actually, 10 till 12 at the tap room as well. So if you pop in there first, As I say, Russell's going to be organising already pastries, teas, coffees, and then we'll crack in some beer as well, of course. But you'll at least have some, to get you started, you'll have those to wake you up. If you need a bit of a hangover, maybe a little coffee to begin with as well. So, and then Gareth as well. So, okay, glad he's not after the beer there. When your son who's 11, but hopefully, yeah, we'll be seeing you at the next one anyway. So that should be good. But we also are at a few other events as well, Charlotte. I think you've got the list at the minute of where we're going to be. You can find us in different places around the UK this weekend, I think.
Yeah, we've got quite a busy weekend. But well, tonight our weekend starts. So you might remember our collab with Runaway Brewery recently, Brewer's Best Bitter. So that's the first pour event tonight, but obviously you're all with us right now. But I'm sure there'll still be some left over the next few days. So if you can get down to, is it Reddish Ale? I think that's where it's pouring at the moment. And then we're also at Manchester Craft Beer Festival. That starts tomorrow all the way through the weekend until Sunday. That should be good. And we're also a bit more local. We're at Chatsworth Farm Shop Food Fair. And we're pouring there. I think we're taking about 4 beers. So yeah, if you can get down to Chatsworth Farm Shop, that'll also be good. And then at the start of August, we're in London for, you told me to, GGBF.
Yeah, it's too long otherwise. GBBF.
I know, I can't say it all, but Great British Beer Festival. So yeah, they're some of the main events, and then obviously Peak End.
Yeah, thanks, Charlotte. And yeah, so you can find us out and about. Hopefully the weather holds, particularly for the outdoor ones, where we'll be at Chatsworth, Peakender too, of course. But yeah, cheers, Charlotte. We're certainly busy as always through there. So if you don't, if it's not one of us three there, just say hello. Let them know you're a TBC member as well if you bump into anyone from the brewery. And they'll always be, keen to chat and hang out as well, definitely. So yeah, hopefully bump into a few of you around and about there. GBBF, I'll be down for some of it as well, personally. So it's always a great event. There's lots of people coming from all over the world, really. It's a great one for different people coming to see the British cask experience too. So I'm looking forward to that. As always, it's been a year or so since I was there myself. So yeah, thanks, Charlotte. Should be good. And then as we move through the beers, as always, we've had quite a sort of old school, I suppose. We've gone summer ale. We went for like classic West Coast. We took our Wild Swan and added that big zesty grapefruit hit to it as well. So no hazies just yet. And then following into that as well is Quiet Storm Cascade. So Cascade is, it's been around since the 70s. It is really seen as being one of the godfathers of hops and of this new wave of American hops. When craft beer, Carl talked about it earlier, these simpler times of craft beer has been done with 1 or 2 hops. Beers like Liberty, unfortunately, there was some sad news about Anchor Brewery the last week, but they are a brewery who over the years have made some absolutely fantastic beers. One of them being Liberty Ale, which was their IPA, again, brewed many, many years ago now, but that was just done solely with Cascade. Sierra Nevada Pale Ale uses it in there. Of course, it's in numerous beers from Thornbridge as well. Jaipur, Cash Pour, most recently we've been doing. And a good number, even Sequoia, those sort of American amber ale, and its descendants with General Sherman in there as well. So yeah, you can find Cascade. If you look at this list of beers that Thornbridge do, you can find Cascade as that kind of guideline right through the center of it. It stands up by itself, as we see now, as a single hop that works fantastically well, or as part of a team of hops to just give you that extra flavor. But for me, when I smell it, when I taste it, it just brings to mind, Carl mentioned those sort of simpler times. For me, it's just that old school American hop. It is craft. It's the beers, my first real craft beers were beers like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. And so they just stick with you. When you smell it, you think of those sorts of beers, and the way craft, I suppose, has evolved over time as well. But you can go from incredibly hazy, hoppy, triple IPAs to something that's just done with Cascade, and it will still stand up. So it was an important part of my beer journey, really, this hop. And yeah, over the years, I'm sure for many other people as well, too. So hopefully people enjoy trying it by itself in the showcase, of course, that we do every month with these Quiet Storm beers as well. And then, yeah, a couple of people enjoying it. It's got that sort of spicy note you get with Jaipur, really nice pale ale, love for Sequoia there as well, too. So other people hopefully sort of thinking the same from me. How about you, Russell? How have you found the Cascade, this version of Quiet Storm?
Yeah, surprised me really. I've not tried it until tonight. I've got to be honest. But after the Tropical Swan, that kind of light, delicate, you can get through a few of those, and it's just very deep in flavour. I found it, real flavourful. It's amazing that it's just that single hop. It's brilliant.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. As I say, it stands up, but it's almost because it's so ubiquitous, I suppose, really. It's probably overlooked to a degree, but yeah, certainly holding its own now, 2023 with amongst lots of other great beers. So it's really nice to be able to brew with this and showcase it a little bit more as well. I had a question there. Will you be at London Craft Beer Festival? I'm going to aim to be there on the Friday for London Craft Beer. We will be there as a brewery. We'll have the team down there all weekend. Personally, I hope be down there on the Friday as well. So if you're there again, we'll see you as we did last time down there too. And so, yeah, we've got quite a range of beers. I'm trying to think what we've got going to London Craft Beer, but all of the big ones as you can expect, there'll be some Jaipur and things there as well too. And then to kind of tease on a little further, we've talked about things in August. We've talked about the tasting that we'll do. So our tasting for next month will be lined up for the end of August once Peakender is out of the way, because it's going to be all hands on deck, I think, for the couple of weeks beforehand as we get everything ready to go. But the box itself that we'll be tasting, and we will do a little in-person tasting of at Peakender, is going to be crazy. So this month has already kind of led into it. We've had some amazing beers, of course, from Wiper and True, collabing with Round Corner. And it'll just keep going on next month. We've got our collaboration with Stone. So we talked about old school America. They've been going, for a long time, Stone. They're known for beers like Ruination and all sorts of great, fantastic stuff. When I was working in the US, we would order them on cask from the West Coast to the pub that we worked in over on the East Coast in New York State. And so they've had a good place in my heart for many years. So we're collabing with those guys. We're going to be doing kind of keeping in that theme of it, but the big hoppy beers, we're going to do double dry hopped Halcyon. So for any Halcyon fans out there, imagine that, but just souped up. So the same way as we did with Jaipur, where we made it that big extra hoppy, hazy version of Jaipur, we're going to be doing that as well. California Sun is going to make a return to keep that real West Coast feeling going too. So California Sun's a West Coast session IPA, 4.5%. Old school American hops, which is really big and drinkable, will be in the 440ml cans. And then we've got two Vistas. So we have first Quiet Storm Vista. So the American hop, we'll be using that as the next of our Quiet Storm series. And then Chula Vista, which is named after a town in over in California. And so it was known as Cool View. And it was the home, originally the global home of lemons, it was known as for quite a while. So it's our lemon and sea salt sour. So just giving a nice little sour note to all of those big IPAs and hoppy beers as well. So it's going to be a real fun summer box. So keep an eye out for it. Some of them, of course, will go very fast, as they always do. So if you like any of them, make sure to try it out. DDH Halcyon, says Paul. Yeah, exactly. That's what we thought when we put it in. We've done the Jaipur, and then we looked at Halcyon like, why not? Let's give it a crack. So yeah, Halcyon's always been one of my favorite beers. So very excited to have that in the box next month as well. Steve has Cascade going in the garden. Yeah, please, definitely. That'd be great to try that one as well. And so talking of, I suppose this takes us really to the final box, the final beer in this month's box, which Russell has been very excited about, as of all of us at the brewery. But I know you've enjoyed this one already, Russell. So as always, please talk us through it. Give us your food pairing and what have you thought of it?
I best have a food pairing now, eh? But yeah, one of the Necessary Evil series. Yeah, it's single malt English whiskey. So we've done this with barrels from our friends down at White Peak Distillery, the old Wireworks in Ambergate, who now distill gin as well as whiskey. I was lucky enough to go down there a couple of months ago and have a bit of a tour around the place, draw some whiskey from some cask as well, which was really fun and exciting. And they're doing a great job down there, Max and his partner and the team that they've got down there. They're just doing a really, really good job in distilling some fantastic whiskey and some gin as well. So we've got some of their barrels. I think they might have had them off us to begin with, and then, they've had their single malt in. We've had them back, and we put our big boozy stout in there. We've aged them for 9 months, and then we've drawn them, and they're at 13%. So it deserves a nice glass. I've stuck them on in a bit of a techie. I always bang the drum on making sure that even if it's in the fridge, it's got to be pulled out of the fridge, well before. But I don't even put mine in the fridge anymore. I don't think it's necessary. And then I open it and I leave it for a while as well, similar to wine. I'll let it breathe and just and before I pour it. But jet black in colour, nice kind of head retention on it to begin with as well. And then just real notes of whiskey straight on the nose straight away. You should be able to get with that. And 13%. So it's a supping beer, is what we call it in the tap room. We call it a sharing beer. Yeah. I mean, in terms of pairing it, wow, that is good. And in terms of pairing it tonight, I've gone with. I've made this as well, by the way. I've with my food pairings, I've made sure that I put all the effort in. This is a homemade flapjack that I've cremated, but plenty of oats, bit of golden syrup, a bit of honey to draw that flavour out, and loads of sultanas. So yeah, a little snack, little after dinner snack, dessert with a dessert. If you haven't, if you've gone through your bottle already, then get some more of this one, because it's not going to stick around for long, that one. It's great.
No, it is. It's a good ending to having all of these great light hoppy beers as well. And as it warms up for me, it's that kind of licorice that really starts coming into it. That little sweetness, as you say, you don't put it in the fridge. You want it at that nice temperature already. I certainly agree. And we say 10 to 12 on the label. So yeah, you do want that little warmth, and it just really opens it up, I think.
Yeah, definitely. You wouldn't put a whiskey in the fridge. Well, some people might. They might have it with ice. I don't know, but typically we'd lengthen it with water and we'd have it at room temperature. And I just think that that's what the beer deserves. And it's I think it's full of flavour. It's great. What really got me into Necessary the Evil range was drinking the bourbon version, and I'm not a Jack Daniels or a Jim Beam drinker at all, and I just found it absolutely fantastic, and it's gone to win loads of awards since, which is great. But I'm not a single malt drinker either, really. I tend to stick to clear spirits and tequila at most, but yeah, it's been great, and it's been really, really good to see the team at Ambergate as well work with their product and just the honesty that surrounds them, and the team there, and just their passion for it as well. And it just works so well with Thornbridge and a beer, and we've just got a great product out of it. So yeah, really happy with it.
Yeah, good. No, I'd agree. It's everything you said. It's been a real success already to have it as part of the range of them. For me personally, probably the bourbon one, I think, has still been my favorite overall. I've enjoyed the differences and trying them in each one, but this one has been superb as well. So it's easy for me to say, of course, but
yeah, when the brewers they bottled it and then they kegged a bit of it, kegged a bit of it in, I think, 20 litres or 30 litres maybe. But we had a part fill, which is just basically what's left over. We just squeezed into a keg, and we usually get that in the tap room, and we can stick it on at any point, but we saved it. And should it be around and available come, a peekend or weekend, we'll probably stick it on. I don't know how, I think we've got about 5, 6, 7 litres of it, but yeah, it's just a worldie. So it'd be good. I'll be keen to try it on the draft as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I'll be making sure to come in and try it as well whenever you have it on in there too. It's and lots of good reviews, and for your flapjack as well there. I'm impressed making it again for some baking for the tastings. Very good.
Absolutely, I am full of commitment for this. So, if I want to make it as the next, Jamie Oliver or Gordon Ramsay, then I've got to put the effort in.
That's true. Well, you're doing well so far. So lots of barrel suggestions there as well coming into first had Lesser Evil in 2021. Yeah, it's been, I mean, the series itself has gone on, you know, producing all these different ones and having them to try. So as you can say, lots of people getting excited about it. Carl, sorry, I missed you there. The malt bill for was Carapils alongside the low color Marisotics. I think you meant the Cascade there as well. And yeah, there'll be lots of different ones. Oh, coconut we did do back in the day as well. We have actually we did just a keg version of it too. So yeah, but no, I'm glad to see the excitement. I'm glad everyone's been enjoying the Lesser Evil too. It's a fantastic sort of finish here, I think, for the evening and for the box as well. It's as we're sadly getting a little bit darker here over in Sheffield anyway. But yeah, so well, that kind of takes us through all of this. Thank you everyone for joining us as always this evening. Hopefully we'll see some of you in person at Peakender. If not there, then maybe at Chatsworth, GBBF, London Craft Beer Fest as well. So we'll see you all there. Colin, of course, jumped on quickly, but thank you to Colin as well. And Carl, thank you again for the return guest, talking about the return beer. That's much appreciated. Thank you, Charlotte, for looking after us, and Russell, of course, with your food pairings and things too. So yeah, been very nice. Thank you all, and thank you for the chat. Been very lively this evening. Enjoy all the questions and all the excitement for it as well. So hopefully see you all soon. Well, we'll see you next month online, if not Peakender first, and hopefully in the meantime. So thank you all again. Have a good night, and cheers everyone. Take care. Enjoy your evenings.